7:14 on this September 1st, and was going through a file here while we wait for the guests to arrive. And I thought this would be a very appropriate time. I got to wait for the theme song here to continue playing out. You can't hear it because I've got it shut off. But anyway, out of respect for the for our police, I thought I'd play this again from 1975, copyright Word Records. Paul Harvey, What is a Policeman?
What are policemen made of? A policeman is a composite of what all men are, a mingling of saint and sinner, dust and deity. Culled statistics wave the fan over the stinkers, underscore instances of dishonesty and brutality because they are news. What that really means is that they are exceptional, unusual, not commonplace. Buried under the froth is the fact that less than 0.5% of policemen misfit that uniform, and that's a better average than you'd find among clergymen. What is a policeman made of? He of all men is at once the most needed and the most unwanted. He's a strangely nameless creature who is sir to his face and fuzz behind his back. He must be such a diplomat that he can settle differences between individuals so that each will think he won. But if the policeman is neat, he's conceited. If he's careless, he's a bum. If he's pleasant, he's a flirt. If he's not, he's a grouch. He must make in an instant decisions which would require months for a lawyer, but if he hurries, he's careless. If he's deliberate, he's lazy. He must be first to an accident, infallible with a diagnosis. He must be able to start breathing, stop bleeding, tie splints, and above all, be sure the victim goes home without a limp or expect to be sued. The police officer must know every gun, draw on the run, and hit where it doesn't hurt. He must be able to whip two men twice his size and half his age without damaging his uniform and without being brutal. If you hit him, he's a coward. If he hits you, he's a bully. A policeman must know everything and not tell. He must know where all the sin is and not partake. The policeman must, from a single human hair, be able to describe the crime, the weapon, and the criminal, and tell you where the criminal is hiding. But if he catches the criminal, he's lucky. If he doesn't, he's a dunce. If he gets promoted, he has political pull. If he doesn't, he's a dullard. The policeman must chase bum leads to a dead end, stake out 10 nights to tag one witness who saw it happen but refuses to remember. He runs files and writes reports until his eyes ache to build a case against some felon who will get dealed out by a shameless Seamus or an honorable who isn't honorable. The policeman must be a minister, social worker, a diplomat, a tough guy, and a gentleman, and of course he'll have to be a genius, for he'll have to feed a family on a policeman's salary.
We appreciate our policemen, Baxter County Sheriff, Mountain Police, Arkansas State Police, and that was for you guys. At microphone number 2, our State Rep Nelda Speaks. Good morning.
Good morning, Dale.
Well, how are things going?
Real good. Just been busy, but enjoying it, and it's going great.
Good. What's one of the highlights that you've had as being State Rep so far?
Well, you know, after the session was over, they came out with the top 10 of the legislators that was conservative, and I was in that top 10, and I was so excited because I feel like that represents the majority of Baxter County and statewide.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So you have an announcement for us today?
I do. I'm going to run again.
Drum roll, please.
Yes. I'm going to seek re-election. I'm excited about it. I enjoyed being down there. But I think three things that I'm the most proud of is we did lower the taxes for the middle class people, and I for one believe we should have done even more, because the more money you get back in the pockets of our citizens, the better Baxter County is going to be, and our state. One of the others is we've invested in our computer science program in all the
Oh,
schools.
yeah.
And I think that is so needed.
I think the governor did a wise thing right there.
I
That's
do
good.
too.
Yeah.
And it wasn't a mandate that without money. He put the money up with it. And to me, that's one of the most important things for our schools or counties or whatever. When you mandate something and you don't give them the money to go with it, then it makes it very, very hard for them. The other thing was the workforce development that we're initiating, and for this Arkansans and training them. We need jobs, but we need qualified people for those jobs.
Mm-hmm.
And I am excited about that. And it's just been an honor to me to go down and represent the citizens of Baxter County as their state representative.
Now, is this the first announcement you've made?
Yes, it is. I did tell the Republican committee we met, and of course I knew that we won't meet again until next month, and I may be in Little Rock when that happens, when it rolls back around. So I had told them that I'm going to seek re-election. But this is the first time I've made it vocal.
Well, we got the scoop.
You got the scoop. Well, you've done well for me, let me tell you,
well,
and I
done well for me,
appreciate
too.
it.
Yeah, really good. I'm putting it on Facebook now. State Representative Nelda Speaks has announced for re-election this morning on my morning radio program Down on the Corner. Thank you so
Good.
much.
Thank you, Dale.
Yeah.
You just have helped us so much, and I appreciate it.
Well, what else is going on? What do you look forward to in the fiscal session in 16? Is that going to be kind of a new experience, not being a legislative?
I don't know. It'll be setting that budget, and and that's of course the budget is interesting to me. There is so many details to this budget, and I've been trying to learn that budget and intend to get more in depth in it, because I believe right there is where you're going to see where things are hid.
Mm-hmm.
And I honestly believe that we need, before we raise taxes or do any of that, and I am totally against raising taxes on our people, we need to start looking to where there is some cushion in some of these. When DHS has wasted the amount of money they wasted, then apparently they don't need it.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. I think what drives people crazy, and I don't know if it's as prevalent in the state as it is in the federal, but it's like when we had a dinner with Congressman Crawford concerning the fish hatchery. Leon Alexander's part of the Friends of National Fish Hatchery and working to keep the mitigation funding going for that and Heber. And one of the questions I asked from the floor that evening was, why can't you simply write a bill that says we want funding for this, we need this amount, and get it done? He says, because people in Cleveland and New York and Philadelphia don't understand what trout are, let alone what a fish hatchery is. So if somebody in New York or Philly or Cleveland wants purple stop signs with orange print, well, you've got to put that in the bill to get their funding so they can come and help you get yours. And I think it's this hidden agenda.
Yes.
Like what happened with Obamacare. We funded the Nevada State Rodeo. I mean, Harry Reid got what he wanted. Nebraska got something different. So transparency.
I believe in that. I believe that the citizens have a right to know where their money is being spent, and the waste that is in that. I know the governor did cut 1% out of his budget, but we keep coming back and asking for more. So I don't know.
When the first time Governor Hutchinson, he was a candidate after the primary, what impressed me was the no frills about Asa. He pulled up in a Dodge truck out here, a red Dodge truck that had over 160,000 miles. And his wife was driving like an 07 300 that had 107,000. They're not driving expensive foreign cars. They're driving just basic American vehicles. So I think he's taken that into the governor's office.
I do too. I really do. I think Asa is a very conservative person, doesn't take long to be around him that you don't see that. And that's one thing I do admire. I think that we need to get off of just looking at citizens and all we think, we can just raise here and raise there. And it's unfair. It's unfair to our people.
Yeah. Do you agree that the more money that we, the people, the working people, the more money we have in our pockets, the more that we'll spend to a certain point? I mean, when we have more liquid assets, when my boys were at home, they needed jeans and socks and shoes and shirts. Mm-hmm. They need bicycles. They needed toys. They needed food. But thank good. And, I've actually got people arguing with me over these fuel prices. I paid $1.98 Sunday afternoon in Paragould after coming back in. Yeah, well, what about people's 401ks because of these low fuel prices? Well, hold the phone, folks.
I, for one, believe, and that's why I think if we get people back to work, let's get them to where when we bring in a company, we've got to have the qualified people to go to work. And the more that people are working, the more money they'll spend. Mm-hmm. And then you'll see your economy flourish. Sure. You can't just invest in certain things and expect that to raise our economy. It does not.
When the taxes come out of the paycheck, if somebody's earning, say, $600 a week, and they take home $495, that leaves them with less amount to put in the economy.
Right, and they spend less. Mm-hmm. But if it's, I don't know why government feels that they have to do so many things, like when we put money into a car company, mm-hmm. and then that's going to, we've got to save them. No, we don't have to save them. To me, they need to make it on their own. And as they put money and invest in their people, then the people will spend more money. They'll buy more vehicles. They'll do,
Sure.
And let's just let
business be business and keep the government out of it.
Right. I for one do not know anything that government has done that
what Ronald Reagan
that
said,
they
the
run
words are,
and
"Hi,
it was good."
I'm from the government. I'm here to help. Okay, defunding of Planned Parenthood. How's that for a hot potato?
That is a very hot potato, and
I don't know if I have ever seen anything so grotesque as the harvesting of human organs from an unborn baby.
I cannot believe America has come to this. I can't, Dale. I cannot believe that we believe selling human parts, especially a baby. And then
have you seen any of the videos?
I can't stand it. I'll be honest. I got something.
I went through one of them.
Did you really? Yeah. And it turned my stomach to even think about it. And it's
everyday practice for these people.
And what is wrong? We wonder sometimes about all of the killings and all of that, just that human life doesn't mean anything anymore. No. But from
policemen to TV journalists in the last 2 weeks, and now babies.
Yes.
This is unbelievable. Is this my prayer this morning? Is this the country we want?
And, years ago when they started the abortion thing, I, for one, believe government should have stayed out of this.
Yeah.
But as we see this happening and we see more babies being killed, and you can call it whatever you want to, but when you abort a baby, you've killed that baby. Yeah. It's a life. And I, for one, believe what the Bible says.
I agree. There's more punishment for a person to, say, kill a pregnant dog.
Yes.
Than it is for a person that aborts a child. It don't make any sense. We're down about 15 seconds here. Final thoughts real quick. Mickey Pendergrass on his way in. I hope, Mickey, you comment. Got to tease him a little bit.
Well, I'm just thankful to have been able to serve, and I want to go back down there. There's a lot that needs to be done in our state, and I think that we have a lot of conservative people down there today, and that they have the heart of the American people of the Arkansas.
And with that, we'll be right back. Time for the news. More with Nelda and County Judge. Supposed to be here. Be right back. 7:35. Nelda stayed here. Good to have Nelda here. And County Judge, you made it.
Yeah, I heard that. Yeah, I did. I looked down at my phone. I saw that little alarm bell. And, where am I supposed to be?
I called your office yesterday.
Yeah, well, we won't blame anybody for this.
Nah, it's all right.
But it's a good day, beautiful day.
It is. It's September.
Just busy.
Yep.
And celebrated another anniversary with my bride, and this last week took a day off and enjoyed some of the amenities of Baxter County, like the White River.
Oh.
She got to catch some trout and enjoy the beauty of the White River there, and she said that was a tremendous idea. And I didn't have to get the boat out and put it all together and go to the lake and try to find a beach. So it was real nice and went out to eat. But we're excited. It has been a beautiful summer, and we're just glad to be here.
Yeah. So what's going on with the county judge?
Well, the normal thing, I got a quorum court meeting tonight, of course, with the 10 items on the agenda. A lot of it same recurring items. We did get our insurance check for the dump truck we lost back about 2 months ago. $118,000 we're going to appropriate and get a new truck ordered. This is the 1st September, so it'll be end of this month. We'll get that. We got 2 new trucks yesterday that we had bought, and so we're still upgrading the fleet. Construction's going on within the county on the roads. They're going to do the state aid layovers on Caney Baker and on Jordan Road coming up pretty shortly, as well as some other subdivisions.
I think there's a date. Go ahead and talk. I'm gonna pull. They're doing something to Norfolk Dam too. Did you get that press release?
Well, they had been doing some gate repairs and jobs, and it had been a real mess down there because it's been one lane traffic for some while, and we've had a lot of community meetings. I think we're up to 9 or 10 this summer, and when we were in Rodney, that was a bone of contention because they didn't cut down the one lane traffic. What happened when the water got so high, they couldn't do the work on the gate repairs and maintenance that they had normally been doing.
Yeah.
And the water level just got below the gate so they can start back. But there's been one lane traffic across the dam all the time. Now, they're also doing a one lane off and on Bull Shoals Dam at this time, too, if I'm not mistaken. I saw that warning that there will be days when there's one lane across it, too.
Yeah, this was issued, this is release number 77-15, released August 31st. I guess it's Corps of Engineers, perhaps, is one lane of Highway 177 across Norfolk Lake will be closed at 7 a.m. September 8th and will remain closed through the end of the year to conduct maintenance.
Just say
the
total.
Dam's 12 Tainter Gates, it says.
Yes.
Kind of a hard email to read here.
Does that say the whole dam or just the one lane?
One lane starting
Yes.
September 8th.
It's never they've never opened it all summer. I don't know what the announcement is.
Yeah.
Because even when they couldn't do the maintenance on those gates because of the high water, and then they had taken the seals off of one of the gates in preparation for the maintenance, and when the water got up, that gate had been leaking all summer, and quite concerning to people. And I'd heard about it, and I went down there and looked at it, and was going to Rodney anyway, and it was squirting around both sides. It didn't hurt anything. They said there was no danger, but it stopped now. The water has dropped low enough that it has stopped leaking, so they get the seals back on it. But, yeah, that's been closed. And I think there's some interruptions intermittently on the Bull Shoals Dam also. So just check the schedule. And iDrive, which is the State Highway
Arkansas.
Department, iDrive Arkansas, they've been out and promoting and doing more and more on that every day or every week. Seemed like they had something else to do that. But it is pretty good about showing construction zones. It's a little slow on ice and snow routes, but it's good on construction zones. But it is a good resource, and you can get it right off your smartphone or the computer, either one.
Speedy here's loading it.
Speedy's loaded, you know.
Speedy's my computer.
Well, I found it interesting. We've been doing some preliminary stuff for budget, which starts next month, and starting getting reports together, and we
Don't you
founded
miss those days, Nelda?
Yes. Our good thing is our sales tax is up a little over 5% for the year. So, and that's a reflection on a lot of things, and including the economy. Sales is working a lot better in Baxter County because our sales tax has been consistently up all year, and so that has kept us afloat and kept us funding things that we've been trying to do. I found the discussion listening to y'all coming in quite interesting about the state budgets and the different moves and the different things that Nelda and you were talking about. The problem we have so many people out there that have got used to the nipple of the government, no matter what level, where it's a county or state or federal, and you try to wean them from that, and oh man, it's
cry.
They cry, and I get those calls practically every day, whether it be animal control or a road or something, and of course our jails are costing all counties an extreme burden. People need to know how conservative we are in Baxter County. We operate our jail for $500,000 less than any county our size, and have the same size jail, and we've been over full all year. It's unbelievable what's the amount of inmates we've had to house this year, and a lot of it has been the medical cost has been helped, and a few other things. But it's just you just have to manage it because you only have so much to spend. Where we have a $900,000 budget, counties like our size have a $1.5 million budget for same size jail. So we do a good job here. We'd like to have that. Maybe we could pay our people a little more and keep them. But there's a lot of things out there we do.
Now there's another. Let's go to bat for the sheriff here. When you go and you bring somebody in and you train somebody and they make, I don't know what they even start them off at, but then they, in order to survive financially, they move on and up.
Well, if they look at it, it's just that Baxter County employees have a really good employment package. We pay a 30% load on top of their salaries, and if people are thinking about that and considering their later years, it is really important because though we can't pay the salaries, and we've been addressing that last year, we'll have to because the state has raised the minimum wage to $8.50. We've been moving the scale. We moved it 3% this year. Hopefully move it 2 the next 2 years, and we'll be above that $8.50 on any starting salary. I got a lease contracts when we have roads across Corps of Engineer property. We sign leases, and been trying to work. I have a lease number. I don't know what road it is, so I've been meeting with them, figuring out what road is this. But when they sent me close to 10 leases on 2 of them on Bull Shoals, the others on Norfolk Lake, and they had an executive order attached to this new lease agreement. And I'm reading through this executive order. It's like 24/7/68 executive order. And I finally met with him. I said, "Who gave this executive order?" President Barack Obama. I said, it's about what I figured. But in this amendment to the lease that we get for these roads, I've been advised not to sign them and fight back against the federal government because the lease says you cannot have a subcontractor work on these roads that pays a minimum wage of less than $10.10 an hour. Well, my starting wage at Road and Bridge is $9.80. I'm not.
Ground.
Yeah, and I've understood that we're not considered a subcontractor. We're the leasee, but we couldn't. Anybody has a contract with the federal government now, you have to pay a minimum wage of $10.10. And if you're back east in Washington D.C. or in New York or California or where they pay those kind of wages, it doesn't matter. But they don't consider us across the central part of the country that we have a lower cost of living, and based upon that, our income is level and our salary levels are below that. So I saw that. I'm trying to scratch and scrounge around and ask for advice and meet with them, and they just kind of, well, we just have to do what we're told, and I understand that. That's true. They're just, but the things that they pass down upon us, so anything that happens in Washington D.C., a lot of it affects us right here locally. But we deal with those things.
Yep. What about prep for winter?
Prep for winter? Well, we're making preparations as normal, stocking our salt bins. So when our new dump trucks come in yesterday, we got new coal patch, 2 truckloads from. We picked that up with the new trucks and bring it in, dump it. Our chips, sawdust, everything is. This will allow us to put 2 of the older dump trucks and get them prepared for winter. We're starting to run more big trucks than what we ever have before. We tried that last winter and it worked very successfully. The problem we have with icy and snowy roads, especially when they freeze and ice, is our little 1-ton trucks. It don't take them long to empty the spreader bed, and then you've got an hour to 2 hour turnaround to go back to the bin to get the stuff and get back to the location in the far reaches of the county. And so you're wasting 2 hours every time you run out of material, and you need it on these hills and curves for people to get in and out. And so we've turning more bigger trucks, we can haul a bigger load out there that will help us, and that's one thing helps us when we upgrade our dump trucks.
Going to go ahead and take a quick break right here, visiting with County Judge Mickey Pendergrass and Representative Nelda Speaks. We'll be right back. 7:48. My phone's going off.
Oh, it's getting crazy around here.
It's Tuesday morning.
September the 1st.
September the 1st.
That's right.
Is that supposed to mean something?
Well, we got the county fair and Labor Day, and I think all kinds of things going on.
September is a busy month.
Hooting and hollering.
Up at Gainesville?
Yeah.
Yeah, be fun.
Same weekend as the fair.
Yeah.
I got an invitation to a class reunion, 45th for class of 1970, and they said, we want to invite the class on either side of us, so they invited us so they could get a crowd.
Yeah.
Where
we at on the lawsuit with the nativity scene?
We're just abiding and waiting on the judge. So they have the depositions have been turned in. We've asked for a summary judgment, and we've not heard a word. They did try to add some other evidence that was not allowed. We protested it because I didn't agree with it. But the court dates are set for October the 15th and 16th. I've asked my legal staff, is it set for a public hearing? And they looked at me like I was kind of strange asking the question. And he said, well, that's not usually. They're usually just a judge, summary judgment. He said, do you want a public hearing? I said, absolutely.
Mm-hmm.
Half of Baxter County will show up if you'll tell me where and when.
Yeah.
Because they wear me out wanting to know where it's at. And so if I know, I'll let you know. I'll let everybody and the public know that there will be a public hearing. We don't know yet where that's going to happen, but the court dates have been set for the 15th, 16th of October. It's booked on my calendar. I didn't forget that like I did this morning. I've got that and burned it in my brain. So, talking about in budgets and what people are used to getting from counties, and we deal with this seems like every day, and right now we're short-handed there, so we're dealing with it even more so out of my office, and that's animal control. I talked with somebody in Washington County. Of course, they're quite a bit bigger than we are, but they have a $3.6 million facility, a $700,000 annual budget, and asking for more. And then the cities of Fayetteville, Springdale, and Centerton also have their own animal control facility, and they don't work together with each other. And we're taking in that county, and he said they was wanting to know what we did because they'd heard we had an animal control facility. And I said, well, our budget's about $92,000 a year. We only deal with feral and stray animals. That's all we're responsible for. So there's other shelters that take pets that want to be returned or those situations, and we adopt the vast majority of those that come in out. We do participate in pause for prison, but we don't spend that much money. And right now our volunteer tax this year, because of the help of our collector, promptly put it on the bill where people have seen it and they've asked. We've got almost $40,000 this year.
Great
revenue for that.
I knew it was going to be good because I had researched that, and they had figures to tell you basically,
yeah.
And it's going to take a little bit, but I believe it's going to.
But now that people know and have somebody to answer their questions,
yes.
When they see it and you out there, they're gladly participating. And we've had a lot of bad publicity from private publishers, social networks, and other things that we do not do of how we operate. We're trying to hire a new manager right now. Those interviews start this week. Mm-hmm. And to get a little more public out of it, somebody that can address the public better than what we have in the past. So, but yeah, we handle 160, 200 animals a year in our shelter, and we have people that get angry with it because we don't call it a no-kill shelter. Well, we can't. That's impossible. But it's a very low-kill shelter, mm-hmm. And I think last year we euthanized 2 dogs, and they had terminal illness. This year we've done 3, 2 of them for the same reason, and one of them that was just not. We go through hoops and all kinds of mounds to figure out not to do that. But feral cat problems we have in this county, that's another issue. That's just it's a runaway, and
really?
Everybody's spay and neuter as much as everybody can. If they're not a breeding business, they need to be spaying, neutering all their pets to stop this, because there's an explosion of cats out there that we have to deal with as well as anybody else. But
Wow.
Even in the city.
Yeah. I had a question come in for Representative Nelda Speaks. I don't know if you can answer this or not, but it says the governor hired defeated Democrats like Tommy Wren as lobbyists at $200 a day.
I don't know what his salary is, but I do know that he is working there.
Why would, and I don't, we probably need to ask the governor, why would he hire a defeated Democrat to lobby? Anybody have an idea?
I have no idea.
I don't know if you know this, but Tommy Wren grew up in Mountain Home. He is a local boy. I know him personally. I coached him in baseball. He's a good guy.
Yeah.
He just on the wrong party.
Maybe he'll see the light. What do you think about?
He's not the only one that they've hired.
Did you hear though that down in Pine Bluff they had a Democrat go Republican, and Mississippi County had two D's
we
go
had
R?
two.
Yes.
I was in Mississippi County last Saturday night for their Lincoln Day dinner, and there were two Democrats switch parties.
And running for state rep and state senate, if I'm not mistaken, or both state rep one.
They're running for state rep. One was defeated as a Democrat
Correct.
last time, and it's going to be an open seat because Representative Wallace moved up to run as for the Senate seat.
Now, even as large as that, and I don't know why you didn't mention it too, a sitting state representative from Pine Bluff, Arkansas, also switched parties.
Yeah. One from
I
Pine
know
Bluff.
him real well, and
and
very
for the right reasons. I mean,
he had
the Planned
trouble
Parenthood deal you talked
he had
about.
trouble all year. I mean, all the time we were down there, different issues on the abortions and different things coming up. And one time he just told me they can throw me out, but I cannot support that. But the Planned Parenthood is what shoved him over the edge.
Yep. And he's exactly right.
Yeah.
And I think you're going to see people that because
And I think it's going to hurt Hillary if, anybody in the Democrat Party, that can't help but hurt their campaign if they support Planned Parenthood with what has transpired. We're down to 45 seconds. Who wants let's give Nelda give a couple of seconds there for fun.
Well, one of the reasons that you're seeing them switch over is because the Democrat Party came out in support of the Planned Parenthood.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
So that's they can't no longer say, we're different.
Well, that was just the straw that broke the camel's back.
Right.
That same-sex marriage went right down the same issue.
Yeah.
And the lies the media will publish, the lies they will show out there to show you so that they tell, it's just unbelievable. They're mean people in many respects that way. But we invite anybody to come. I've got a community meeting in Promised Land next Thursday night. I've got one more in Salesville and Hand Cove coming up in next month. So if we have one, you're ready to come out and see us. Ask if you got a question. That's where we deal with them.
I enjoyed your one in Midway.
We have good questions. I mean, we just talk.
Theme song's playing real quick. Nelda Speaks is just announced for re-election, seat 100. Congratulations. We'll be supporting you.
Thank you, Dale.
Wraps it up. We'll be back tomorrow. See you later, everybody.